Uncle John was a huge wrestling fan. In fact, that's practically all he talked about: wrestling, wrestling, and more wrestling. And at every opportunity, he tried to convince his nephew Ben to come along with him to a wrestling match. Finally, after weeks and weeks of convincing, Ben agrees, and he says, "You know what, tonight I'll come." Uncle John is ecstatic. He pulls up to the house that night. Ben comes into the car, and as they drive to the arena, he starts telling Ben about his favorite fighter, Tony, who's in the match tonight and is sure to win. They pull up to the arena. Uncle John leads Ben to his box seats, and in short order, the match begins. The fighters start going at it. They're wrestling back and forth. The crowd is roaring, the music's blaring, and Uncle John is cheering, "Tony, Tony." But after 7 minutes, the unthinkable happens. Tony is wrestled down to the mat. Ben starts getting out of his seat, and he looks, and he sees his uncle, and his uncle's still there cheering, "Tony, Tony." And he turns to his uncle and he says, "John, what are you doing?" And his uncle turns to him and says, "What do you mean? Where are you going?" And he says, "What do you mean, where am I going? Tony's down, it's over." His uncle says, "Over? This is wrestling. It's not over when you go down, it's over when you stay down." The Pasuk in Tehillim tells us, "B'soy galov ata teshabchem." As the waves of the ocean rise, the Rabbi Shalom praises them. And the Baal Shem Tov asks, why is the Rabbi Shalom cheering for the waves of the ocean? And he answers something amazing. He says, these ocean waves, they've crashed 1,000,000 times before. And every time they try to rise up and overtake the land, they fail. And yet, what do? They rise up again. They try again. They give it another go. And for someone like that, the Rabbi Shalom's right there, cheering him along. After Yaakov finishes his epic fight with Sarah Shel Esav, he's crowned with a new title, Yisrael. Why? Ki sarisa im Elohim ve'manashim vatuchal. Because you fought with angel and man, and you were able. But if you look carefully, the Torah doesn't say vatinatseach, and you overcame and you won. It says vatuchal, and you were able to keep up the fight. And the truth is, if you look carefully, Yaakov didn't win. If anything, he got injured. And yet, you know what he did do? Vatuchal. He was able to keep up the fight. Ad alois hashachar, until the buzzer sounded. Very soon, the buzzer of Shofar Gadol will sound. And guess what? If we're still in it, we win it.